Conrad,
Hello.
hello. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good,
I'm good.
thank you. Look, Cassandra from Silver Tiger Media. How's things going?
Things are great. Yeah, just busy, keeping busy promoting this album, and yeah, been at sort of everywhere in the last week. So just I'm home today, and then yeah, back at it tomorrow.
So, where is home base for you at the moment?
We're sort of in between. I mean, I have a place in Brisbane, Australia, and then we have a place in LA as well. So we leave for Los Angeles next week, and we've been in Australia a lot since we had Memphis, but yeah, sort of just going back and forth at the moment.
Great. And how are you enjoying fatherhood?
I'm enjoying it a lot. Yeah, it's lot of work, a lot more than I thought it was going to be. But ultimately, yeah, it's been amazing. It's been such a journey.
Oh, and how old is Memphis now?
He's one.
Oh, okay. So busy days.
Yes, very long days. And yeah, he's sort of up and about now and starting to walk. So things have just got a bit hectic.
Absolutely. I know that feeling very, very well. Now, look, it's been a busy few years for you. You've had 3 years recording Precious over in Santa Monica, Jackson Brown's private studios over there. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I started it pre the pandemic, and I flew back to LA, and I was supposed to be um, jumping straight into recording, and then obviously the world shut down, and that kind of gave me a bit of a break that I probably really needed to just sort of step back from everything, and I, like the rest of the world, was sort of going through it, and yeah, I met Adam McDougall, who used to play in the Black Crows, and we started just writing songs, just me and him, and I guess um, the majority of the songs for the album was written, and then I decided that I wanted to record most of it live. So we found Jackson Brown's studio, and I put together all the musicians, which are a lot of them were just friends of mine that I knew, that played with everyone from John Mayer to Alanis Morissette, all these amazing bands that they were in, and yeah, I pulled everyone together and we started making this album, and it was it was 70s, blue eyed soul, rock and roll. That was sort of the inspo for it, and yeah, so we started that, and that took us about 6 weeks, and then I had to sort of just keep bouncing back and forth. I had to quarantine every time I'd come back to Australia, so it was a big mission to get it finished, and then at the end of that, my partner fell pregnant, so that I was still bouncing back and forth, mixing and dealing with that as well. So feels like it's forever that this album has been waiting to come out, and I've been living with the songs for so long that now that it is out, it's almost like a thank God kind of thing.
Oh, look, it's just I can't say how amazing Precious is to anybody who hasn't heard it. You need to go and listen to this album. I know you worked really hard to get the soul rock and roll feel, and oh, you just got it in spades. It's just like this southern charm and this New Orleans feel, and I don't know, it just takes me on a journey every time I listen to it. It's just amazing.
Thank you. That's so cool that you've actually given a proper listen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I feel like this is the first album I was really I got to make the way I wanted to make it. I mean, my first album was a lot of demos and just sort of, I mean, great songs, but just put together, and there wasn't really like a thread or a sound or real instruments recorded the way that we did it with Precious. I really got to. I was involved in everything. I produced the album with Pro J as well, and from choosing the type of strings to choosing the musicians to working closely with the horn players and on the arrangements. And I feel like when you get to touch every part of the music, it's so much more special. So yeah, I mean, like you, I just want as many people to hear it as possible, and that's hard at the moment in the industry, getting people to sort of give a body of work like this at the time of day when everybody has such small attention spans.
Yeah. Oh,
But
look, it um just listening to it, as I said, I just feel like there is such a journey and it has this beautiful flow, and you've got these slower songs like you've got Ego and Caroline in between, but then you've got these bangers like Make Me a Believer and Bittersweet that you just feel
mm,
this. this whole journey, and you put it on in the car, and it just, it just takes you to another place. It's just so good.
Thanks. Yeah, and that's what we wanted as well. And it's I feel the exact same way, and I'm super proud of it. And yeah, like I said, it's just about now letting the world discover it and pushing it out there as however we can and spreading the word, because I really believe in this album, and I feel like this is the first time that I can sort of stand behind a body of work and say, that's who I am, and that's what I stand for, and that's that's what you're going to get when you come and see a Conrad show.
Is there going to be a Conrad show? Are we going to get a tour off this album?
There definitely will be. Yeah, we're just planning dates at the moment. So I think it will be around June, July that there'll be will be around the album tour in Australia anyway. And yeah, like obviously we recorded a lot of it live, so I just really want to make sure that the fans can come out and see how it's done, and how it was made.
Yeah, and look, there's no secret. Precious is based around yourself and your journey through your career, and your life. And of course, with age comes wisdom. And I know we'd probably do a lot of things different looking back now, but do you think you couldn't have written this without that life story that you've led?
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like that's sort of almost my thing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like every artist has to have a message or something that is a reason why people are drawn to their music. And for me, my story and my journey has always been in my songs. You know what I mean? That messaging of not giving up, and self-love and self-doubt, and all the things that come with trying to be in this industry, and trying to entertain people for a living. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm pretty vulnerable when I make music. I just say I just speak the truth about who I am, or who I think I am, and I think that gives the listener a bit of an idea of who I am as a person. And yeah, I couldn't have, if I haven't had these peaks and these lows in my journey, then yeah, this album would be completely different. It's ultimately it hasn't been easy. You know what I mean? It's been
Absolutely.
It's been quite hard, and still feels hard. You know what I mean? Still feels like we're pushing a rock uphill. But maybe that's why, I don't know. Part of that makes it so much sweeter when you have these successes, obviously.
Oh, look, and like I said, we all have these times in our life that make us reflect and give us views and opinions on what we have today. And I just think it comes through so strongly in your music, and you can really feel your journey in there, and it's just such a credit to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. That really means a lot.
I'm going to talk just very briefly about Tell Mum I Love Her. As a mum, oh my goodness, it just really pulled on my heartstrings. It's very stripped back and very raw, and it's very emotional, so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really talked about this much in any interviews, but I mean, when I say I sort of lost myself for the pandemic, during the pandemic, I really did, and I had to sort of go away to a place where I could just had no phone and had no contact with the outside world, and that song is about that. Really, it was about me literally going out to the middle of nowhere with no phone and
switching off
and no connection with the outside world, and sort of writing in my journal every single morning and night, and trying to figure out what was going on with my life and why I was doing certain things, and really wanting to get back to a place where I was happy. And that song's about that, you know what I mean? And I it's a bit cryptic in the lyric, but it that's what it's about. It's about going away and sort of just letting mum and everybody know that I'm going to be all right. I just need to check out for a sec.
Yeah, and look, I totally got that message when I listened to it. And as I said, as a mum, I just feel that, you'd hope your own kids could do exactly what you did. If things were just getting a bit too hectic and life was a bit too much, just take a step back and yeah, and just take time for yourself and reevaluate where you are. And I really got that message. I just love it so much.
That's great. That's one of my favorites on the album as well. And I think, yeah, it's a very special song. So I'm glad you got that.
Yeah, perfect to finish on the album too, being the last song. It just it's always in your mind at the end, and it was just fabulous.
Incredible. I love it.
Now, your favorite song off Precious, you just said, Tell Mum I Love Her. Do you have any others that you really enjoy performing?
Um, it- my favorite song on the album is I love Tell Mum I Love Her, but I also love Precious,
Yeah.
the song Precious. I feel like that song is probably the most soulful one on the bunch. And I don't know, something about that song for me when it came to life in the studio. It was because it was a ballad originally, and I was trying to figure out how to make it not a ballad, and we were playing around with the chords and the tempo, and it sort of ended in this funky, like Joe Cockery kind of vibe. And man, I just thought when we finished that song and the horns were on it, I was just like, I was convinced that was going to be the greatest song of all time. And obviously, you live with these songs, and whether or not that becomes the greatest song of all time or not is another thing. But I still play that song. Like, it's my favorite on the album, and just the messaging behind it, and not giving up, and how precious life is. And it's literally like, it's very free flowed, that song. It just, a lot of that song came out, wasn't written down. I had like a couple of lines, and then the rest just sort of was like word vomit on the microphone. I was just making it up on the spot kind of thing. And you can tell, but at the end, I'm just sort of shouting out random things, like tell the devil I'm not coming, and trying to make my family proud and all this stuff. And it was just thoughts that were in my head that were just being sung out onto the microphone, which was I'd never had that happen before to me, so it was kind of cool.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, it was like Joe Cocker took over my body for about 4 minutes.
All those random movements and random words.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was possessed.
I just think there's a song for everyone on this album. You've catered to everybody's taste, which is another thing that's very hard to do these days. Like I said, you've just got that great flow, and God Save the Queen has just got that funk, and the film clip's awesome. Your threads are awesome. Tell me about some of these clothes you're pulling out. My goodness.
Yeah, we had I mean, I love fashion, always have, and obviously the music was very 70s inspired. The stuff in the live video, that's mostly Gucci stuff. But we also pulled from we were in New York when we did the photo shoot, and we did it at this massive manor house up in uh like upstate New York. And that house actually was where the Rolling Stones took those famous pictures with Jerry Hall. And
Right.
so I guess that was sort of the pitch when we were styling it. And I style myself on all the stuff. I take the budget and I go and buy the clothes that I want to buy. And a couple of friends of mine have access to a lot of vintage, sort of like one-off pieces from some of the designers that they're called archive pieces. So it's like stuff that was, maybe in a show in the 70s and stuff like that. And then you can pull them, but you have to be very careful with them. So yeah, it was a really cool experience getting to wear some of those fancy threads.
Is that where the purple velvet ensemble
Yes.
came from?
That was definitely an archive piece.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting the purple vinyl, because I have a lovely 1974 vintage Pioneer turntable. I think it will look absolutely smashing on that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I had my record player, which is my prized possession as well. Was one from the 70s, and the cartridge was actually broken in it, so I had to get, before we had the listening party at my house, I had the guy out to fix it, and it sounds tip top. So yeah,
I don't think people appreciate
from top to bottom.
Yeah, I don't think people appreciate the value of listening to an album on vinyl. Just that crispness and that clear sound. There's just nothing like it.
Yeah, definitely, and it also makes you listen to it, in order and no skipping, and just sort of, okay, this is side A, this is side B, and it just takes you on that journey.
Oh, look, especially with Precious, like I said, once again with that flow, to listen start to finish is it's just amazing. Coming from a musical family yourself, now you're in your 30s, you've got a child. Do you think you'd support a career in music for Memphis if that was his choosing?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd be proud. I mean, I'd be proud of him, whatever he does. I would understand why, because music is so can give
It's
you
in
so
your
much
blood.
joy. Yeah, and you know, you can't, you could never tell a kid not to choose that path if he's got that bug. Do you know what I mean? If it makes him happy, like the thing. But you know, I just make him aware that it's not, you know, what necessarily what you think it's going to be, and it's going to be a long journey, and there's going to be a lot of knockbacks and ups and downs, and you know, be prepared for that. You know, not it's not going to be you know, I'm going to be famous, and you think that's going to change, you know, solve any of your issues, because fame is one thing, but you know, happiness and success is another.
Oh, look, absolutely. As the mother of a muso myself, and there's no greater joy now to sit back and watch my son on the stage playing gigs and stuff. But there's
Yeah,
so much work and effort that goes into it, and you know they're just
yeah,
busting their butts, these kids, and you know, like you
yeah.
said, to get it out there and get people to listen is so hard.
It is, yeah, especially these days in this day and age. I mean, it's the music business, isn't it? You know what I mean? I think that a lot of people don't realize that it's a business, and you know, it's a brutal one. So you know, it's not. I wish it was just about music, but it's not anymore. It's almost it's a very small part about what you got to deal with. So, but you know, in saying that, like I'm very fortunate to. I think the writing process and the actual creating of the music is such a gift, and gives you so much joy when you're doing that, that it almost, you know, it makes up for the bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you've had a very colourful career. You've had an ARIA award, a #1 song, a #1 album. You've performed Coachella, you know, all these amazing venues. So you've been very fortunate in your career so far.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you got to remind yourself of that and be grateful. And you know, I'm always going to want more, and I'm always going to strive for more. But I know how blessed I am, and how fortunate I am to be where I'm at. You know, even if that's still not enough for me, you know, I definitely remind myself that, you know, I'm very lucky as well. So
Oh, absolutely. Well, look, thank you so much for chatting today. I just can't wait to get the message out to everyone to get this album, listen to this album. It's just
thank you so much.
little bit life changing for me. It's just yeah, it's just so smooth and so easy, and I think everyone should listen to it.
I really appreciate it. It's so amazing to hear that you sort of, it's affected you like I had hoped it would.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, thank you so much. We'll look forward to a tour hopefully later in the year. It's been an
Sounds good to me.
absolute delight. Thank you so much.
All right, now take care.
Thank
I'll talk to
you.
you soon.
Bye.
Cheers.